If you want wealth, real wealth, not likes on social media, not fake status, but money that works for you, then you must first stop doing what keeps you broke. Let me be very clear, the rich people don't get rich by accident. They follow rules. They avoid certain habits like poison. And if you're still doing these things, you are actively pushing wealth away. If you want wealth, the first thing you must stop doing is spending money to impress people who have absolutely no impact on your future. This single habit destroys more financial potential than almost any other, and most people don't even realize they're doing it. They confuse looking rich with being rich, and that mistake keeps them broke for life. Spending for approval is emotional, not intelligent. Buying the newest phone, designer clothes, luxury shoes, or an expensive car on payments doesn't make you successful. It makes you predictable. You're signaling insecurity, not strength. Real wealth is silent. It doesn't need validation. The people who truly have money don't care what strangers think about their lifestyle because their confidence comes from their balance sheet, not their appearance. Every time you spend money to impress someone, you're trading your future for a moment of attention. That money could have been invested, saved, or used to build something that produces income. Instead, it's gone, depreciating the moment you swipe your card. Rich people understand one brutal truth: the liabilities don't make you wealthy. Assets do. And flashy purchases are almost always liabilities. Debt is often hiding behind these decisions. The financing a lifestyle you can't afford is financial self-sabotage. Interest works against you, quietly draining your cash flow month after month. While you're paying for yesterday's excitement, someone else is using that same money to buy equity, start a business, or acquire cash-flowing investments. One choice builds freedom, the other builds stress. There is also a dangerous mindset attached to this behavior, the need to keep up. Social media has turned comparison into a full-time job. You see curated highlights and feel pressured to match an image that isn't even real. Wealthy thinkers don't compete in that game. They know comparison is a trap designed to separate fools from their money. Instead of asking, "How do I look?" they ask, "How does this purchase pay me back?" Another hard truth: no one you're trying to impress actually cares. People are focused on their own lives, their own problems, their own goals. The approval you're chasing is temporary and empty, but the financial damage is permanent. Rich people don't spend to be seen, they spend to grow. They delay gratification without apology because they understand the power of patience. The choosing not to show off requires discipline and confidence. It means being comfortable driving a simple car, wearing practical clothes, and living below your means while your money is quietly multiplying. This isn't weakness, it's strategy. The goal isn't applause. The goal is ownership, control, and freedom. The wealth is built when you respect money. Respecting money means giving it a job, not wasting it on ego. Once you stop trying to look successful and start focusing on becoming successful, everything changes. Your spending becomes intentional, your stress decreases, and your future becomes stronger. That's how real wealth begins, by refusing to buy things that impress people who don't matter. One of the most damaging mistakes people make on the road to wealth is believing that passion alone is enough. They tell themselves that if they just follow what they love, that the money will somehow appear. That idea sounds comforting, but it is financially dangerous. Wealth is not built on feelings, it is built on results. The rich thinkers understand this difference early, and that understanding changes how they make decisions. Passion without profit is not a plan, it's a hobby. You can love something deeply and still lose money doing it. Enjoyment does not create cash flow, the market does. The money only moves when a real problem is being solved at a price people are willing to pay. Wealthy individuals respect the market far more than their emotions. They ask hard questions before committing time or capital. Who will pay for this? How often? How much? And why will they choose me? There is nothing wrong with passion, but it must come second to viability. Rich people look for opportunities that work first, then bring passion into the process later. They understand that financial stability creates freedom, and freedom allows passion to grow. Doing it the other way around usually leads to stress, debt, and disappointment. When bills are due, passion doesn't help, revenue does. Another harsh reality is that not every passion has economic value. Some interests are meant to remain personal, not professional. Trying to force income out of something the market doesn't want is exhausting. It turns joy into pressure and creativity into desperation. Wealth builders separate their emotional fulfillment from their income strategy. They let their businesses fund their lifestyle, not the other way around. The discipline plays a major role here. Rich people are willing to do work that may not be glamorous but is profitable. They understand that boring businesses often make the most money. The consistency beats excitement. Cash flow beats creativity. They don't chase dreams blindly, they structure them intelligently. Once income is stable, they can afford to take creative risks without risking survival. There's also a timing issue most people ignore. Passion-driven decisions are often rushed. The people quit stable income too early, betting everything on an idea that hasn't been proven. Wealthy thinkers test first. They validate ideas on a small scale. They let data, not emotions, decide whether something deserves more investment. If the numbers don't work, they walk away without guilt. Profit is not evil, and it is not a betrayal of purpose. The profit is proof that value is being created. Without profit, there is no growth, no scale, and no impact. Rich people respect profit because it allows sustainability. A business that doesn't make money cannot help anyone long-term, including the person running it. When you stop romanticizing passion and start prioritizing profit, your thinking becomes sharper. You make clearer decisions, you waste less time, and you stop confusing desire with demand. Wealth becomes a logical outcome, not a lucky accident. The passion is powerful, but only when it is supported by a system that produces income. That's how real financial success is built, by letting money follow value, not feelings. The fear of failure is one of the most expensive habits a person can have, and it quietly keeps millions of people stuck exactly where they are. Not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they are afraid of getting it wrong. Wealthy thinkers don't see failure as a personal weakness. They see it as a necessary cost of progress. If you're not failing, you're not trying anything ambitious enough. Most people are conditioned to avoid mistakes. From school to society, the failure is treated like something shameful. That mindset is toxic when it comes to building wealth. Business and investing are not clean, straight paths. They are messy, unpredictable, and filled with setbacks. Those who expect perfection never start. Those who accept failure move forward. Failure is data. It tells you what doesn't work, where your assumptions were wrong, and what needs to change. Rich people pay attention to that information instead of running from it. They analyze their mistakes without emotion and adjust their strategy. The loss hurts, but the lesson is valuable. Over time, those lessons compound into experience, and experience is priceless. The real danger isn't failure, it's inaction. Doing nothing feels safe, but it slowly erodes potential. Opportunities don't wait for confidence. The markets don't reward hesitation. While you're thinking about what might go wrong, someone else is learning by doing. They may fail too, but they'll be one step ahead because they took action. Another critical difference is how risk is managed. Wealthy thinkers are not reckless. They don't gamble blindly. They calculate risk, limit downside, and accept that some losses are unavoidable. They risk small to learn big. The poor thinking avoids risk completely and ends up risking everything by staying dependent on a single outcome, like one job or one paycheck. Fear also comes from ego. People worry about looking foolish, being judged, or proving their critics right. But wealth isn't built in public approval, it's built in private decisions. The rich people are willing to look wrong temporarily to be right long term. They understand that opinions don't pay dividends. Results do. Every successful person has a history of failure behind them, even if you never see it. Deals that collapsed, investments that lost money, businesses that didn't scale. The difference is they didn't stop. They used each failure to sharpen their instincts and improve their systems. Over time, the failure became less frequent and more controlled because experience replaced fear. There's also a time cost to fear. Waiting for the perfect moment is another form of procrastination. The conditions are never perfect. Markets change, competition grows, and opportunities expire. Those who act imperfectly but consistently outperform those who wait endlessly for certainty. Momentum is more valuable than confidence. When you stop fearing failure, your decision-making becomes faster and clearer. You stop overthinking and start testing. You stop protecting your comfort and start building capability. The wealth doesn't reward courage without intelligence, but it never rewards fear. Once you accept that failure is part of the process, it loses its power over you. The financial success belongs to those who are willing to be uncomfortable, make mistakes, and keep moving forward. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's the path to it. The wasting time is one of the most invisible yet destructive habits that keeps people away from wealth. Money can be earned again, but time once gone is lost forever. The wealthy thinkers understand this at a deep level, which is why they treat time with more respect than almost anything else. They don't confuse being busy with being productive, and they don't allow distractions to control their lives. Most people give away their time without thinking. Hours disappear into scrolling, gossip, low-value entertainment, and conversations that lead nowhere. None of these things move life forward, yet they consume energy every single day. The danger is not one wasted hour, but a pattern of wasted days that quietly turn into wasted years. Rich people are painfully aware of this cost, so they design their lives to minimize it. The time has an opportunity cost. Every hour spent on something useless is an hour not spent learning a new skill, building a business, improving health, or strengthening valuable relationships. Wealth builders constantly ask a simple question: is this the best use of my time right now? If the answer is no, they either delegate it, they eliminate it, or delay it. This discipline compounds just like money. Another major time killer is poor focus. Multitasking feels productive, but it destroys quality and slows progress. Rich thinkers focus deeply on one high-impact task at a time. They prioritize actions that directly increase value, income, or knowledge. That they understand that a few focused hours on the right activity can outperform days of unfocused effort. There is also the issue of people who drain time. Not everyone deserves access to you. Constant complainers, unmotivated friends, and negative influences consume mental space without offering growth. The wealthy individuals are selective about who they spend time with because mindset is contagious. They choose environments and conversations that challenge them, not ones that keep them comfortable. Procrastination is another silent enemy. Putting things off creates mental stress and delays results. Rich people act quickly, even if the decision isn't perfect. Speed creates momentum, and momentum creates progress. Waiting feels safe, but it usually costs more in the long run. Action, even imperfect action, moves life forward. Time management is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. The wealth builders schedule their priorities instead of prioritizing their schedule. They protect blocks of time for thinking, planning, and execution. They understand that clarity comes from quiet focus, not constant noise. Entertainment is not the enemy, but excess is. Rich people enjoy life, but they do not escape into distraction. They consume information intentionally and avoid habits that numb ambition. They are aware that comfort can become a trap if it replaces growth. When you start respecting time, your life becomes more structured and purposeful. You stop reacting and start directing. You gain control over your days instead of letting them slip away. Wealth doesn't come from working nonstop. It comes from working smart, with intention. Those who master their time master their outcomes. Financial success is rarely about intelligence or luck. It's about how consistently someone uses their limited hours. Once you stop wasting time, progress accelerates, opportunities appear, and wealth becomes a realistic outcome rather than a distant dream. Relying on a single source of income is one of the riskiest financial decisions a person can make, yet most people accept it as normal. One paycheck feels safe and predictable, but in reality it creates dependence. When your entire financial life is tied to one stream, you are always one problem away from stress, panic, or collapse. Wealthy thinkers understand this risk early, which is why they never allow their income to come from only one place. A single income creates the illusion of security. Regular paychecks feel stable, but they are controlled by factors outside your influence: management decisions, economic shifts, the industry changes, or technology. You can be hardworking, loyal, and skilled, and still lose that income overnight. Rich people don't ignore this reality, they plan for it. They build systems that pay them regardless of one employer or one deal. Multiple income streams are not about greed, they are about resilience. When one stream slows down, the others continue flowing. This reduces stress and increases decision-making power. Instead of being forced to accept bad terms or toxic environments, you gain the freedom to walk away. The wealth is not just about how much you earn, it's about how much control you have. Another key difference is how income is structured. The poor thinking trades time for money and stops there. Wealthy thinking looks for ways to separate income from hours worked. Businesses, investments, royalties, and equity allow money to continue coming in even when you are not actively working. This is how scalability is created. Time is limited, systems are not. Building multiple streams doesn't mean doing everything at once. Rich people start small and expand gradually. They strengthen one source, then use the excess cash to build another. They don't chase quick wins or get distracted by every opportunity. Focus and patience matter. Each stream must be intentional and manageable. There is also a mindset shift required. The depending on one income keeps people cautious and fearful. They avoid risk because failure feels catastrophic. With multiple streams, risk becomes manageable. You can experiment, learn, and adapt without betting your entire future on one outcome. This flexibility accelerates growth. Passive income is often misunderstood. It is not effortless, especially in the beginning. It requires upfront work, capital, or both. Wealthy individuals are willing to sacrifice short short-term comfort for long-term stability, that they build assets while others consume. Over time, those assets begin to carry the financial load. Another benefit of diversified income is opportunity. That when money is coming from multiple places, you can think long-term. You can invest in education, partnerships, and ideas that may not pay immediately but have high future potential. The financial pressure disappears and strategic thinking replaces survival thinking. Living on one income also limits perspective. It traps people in routine and dependency. The multiple streams expand awareness. You begin to see how money moves, how value is created, and how leverage works. This financial literacy is what separates earners from owners. The wealth is built by those who refuse to put their entire future in one basket. Security does not come from one paycheck. It comes from preparation, diversification, and ownership. When income flows from multiple directions, stability increases, stress decreases, and true financial freedom becomes possible. Discipline is the foundation of wealth, yet it is the one thing most people try to replace with motivation, shortcuts, or luck. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes based on mood and circumstances. Discipline, on the other hand, is reliable. Wealthy thinkers understand that long-term success is built on consistent behavior, not bursts of excitement. That they don't wait to feel inspired to do what needs to be done. They do it because it is necessary. Discipline shows up in daily decisions, especially the small ones that seem insignificant. Choosing to save before spending, investing before consuming, learning before entertaining. These choices don't feel dramatic, but over time they create massive results. Poor thinking looks for instant rewards. Rich thinking is patient and structured. It understands that progress compounds when actions are repeated consistently. Financial discipline means respecting cash flow. Wealthy individuals track their money. They know where it comes from and where it goes. They don't guess, they measure. Budgets are not restrictions to them, they are tools. They allow money to be directed with purpose instead of disappearing without results. Control creates clarity, and clarity creates confidence. Another aspect of discipline is delayed gratification. The ability to say no today for a better tomorrow separates those who build wealth from those who only dream about it. The rich people are comfortable waiting. They resist lifestyle inflation even when income increases. Instead of upgrading everything immediately, they reinvest in assets that produce more income. This restraint accelerates financial growth. Discipline also applies to thinking. Emotional decisions are expensive. Fear, excitement, and ego can destroy years of progress in a single moment. Wealth builders slow down their reactions. They rely on logic, data, and long-term vision. They don't chase trends blindly or panic during downturns. Stability of mind protects stability of money. Consistency is another pillar. Wealth is rarely created through one big win. It is the result of many correct decisions made over time. Investing regularly, improving skills steadily, reviewing goals frequently. These habits don't make headlines, but they build empires. Rich people trust the process even when results are not immediately visible. Discipline also means setting standards and sticking to them. Not every opportunity deserves attention. Not every deal is worth taking. Wealthy thinkers have clear criteria for how they invest time and money. If something doesn't meet those standards, they walk away without regret. Saying no is a form of discipline that protects focus and resources. There is also discipline in personal conduct. Health, energy, and mental clarity matter. Wealth is difficult to build when your body and mind are neglected. Rich people understand that performance requires maintenance. They invest in habits that support longevity because they know success is not a short race, it's a long game. When discipline becomes part of identity, wealth stops being a struggle. Decisions become automatic, progress becomes predictable, and stress decreases. You no longer rely on hope or chance. You rely on systems and habits that work. True wealth is not built by talent alone, and it is never built by luck alone. It is built by disciplined actions repeated over time. Once discipline replaces impulse, financial success becomes not just possible, but inevitable.